Okay, good evening if you are experiencing evening right now. if not, I hope, well, either way, if you're not or you are, I hope you're doing well and you are doing safe. So, these past few weeks or days, I don't know how long it's been since my last post. That glare is bugging me. Or is it the glare? Or is it the light? I don't even know. um, I've been noticing a pattern for myself. Well, one, I will say that I haven't posted because I've been struggling on what to think or what to talk about. Even though I've been having these ideas come up just so much and I've been writing them down and just kind of, as if I was in an interview or something, like just saying what I think I would say. And also with my other goals, my other goals that I'm trying to pursue, that I'm trying to consistently put effort into and just go after. I've been having a lot of thoughts, you know, a lot of kind of excuses I've been making for myself. Like, oh, I'm too tired to do this, or I just, I can't do it right now. It's too early. Basically trying to procrastinate. And in a way, some of these weren't really excuses because especially I've been so tired. I haven't been getting good sleep. But I still notice that all this, it's the procrastinating, me self-doubting. Even right now I've been trying to record this video and I just keep stopping the video because I've been doubting myself. And well, short answer, and I'm self-sabotaging again. And I wanted to talk a bit more about that because maybe you unknowingly or knowingly you're doing that to yourself too. And it's a fucking really bad habit to do. But it's more complex than we think, than we realize. Earlier I saw, well, before I really get into the story, I guess, I went outside and I was thinking like, okay, let me clear my head. Let me really figure out what I want to do for a video. And as I was walking, I heard a zzz, zzz, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Don't kill me. So I grabbed my flashlight, or I turned on my flashlight, and I was like, panning around. Well, it looks like I have a gun. What the hell? And I'm trying to look around, see where it is. And it was a black beetle. A black beetle was on its back, trying to fly away. So I grabbed my chancla because I was afraid to touch it. I don't like bugs that make loud noises like that, like cicadas or what's the other one? I don't care. But yeah, so I flipped it over with my chancla and it flew away. And then it went back on its back again. So I was like, you know what? I'm not helping you anymore. God damn it. You help yourself. So I feel like that was, well, that was really the confirmation. I was like, yep, you really, you, you need to talk about self-sabotaging. Because I feel like, much as the beetle, I do that to myself. Or I guess in a better way that I feel like resonates more for me is I get myself entangled in my own web. It's like I have what's it called? a blindfold over my eyes, and I like kind of put all these ropes or like this web like thing together, and then I take off my blindfold and I'm like, all right, gonna go after gonna go after this goal, and then I get myself entangled, you know, kind of what's it called? Not preparing, but I don't know the word, but presetting, pre-planning myself to fail, to mess up, you know, so I don't try again, or I'd be like, oh, you know, this is why things don't work out for me, or you know, I can't seem to, you know, every time I try it doesn't seem to work. I've done that for a long time. And I noticed, or I realized a long time ago, but reflecting on it now, I self-sabotage. I self-sabotage mainly because I'm afraid to express myself. I'm afraid to show myself. I'm afraid to speak my mind because, well, ever since I was a kid, I was always someone to question everything, to speak the truth, speak my mind, and you know, also be very self-expressive in what I wore and in what I liked. And because of that, I got bullied a lot, got made fun of, and not in the way where it's like, oh yeah, I find it funny too. I guess that's also another form of bullying. And you know, getting, you know, really bad backlash from my family in their own ways. And, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm like blowing smoke up my ass, but, you know, I've also experienced a lot of girls that have, you know, women that have been jealous and would like shit talk about me, or, you know, you just, like, you see the look in their eyes and you see their pattern behavior and you just know, like, they just don't like you. But as a kid, you know, as soon as I got a little glimpse of that, you know, somewhere in my little kid mind was like, okay, self-expression is bad, telling the truth is bad, or like just being yourself is bad. So I need to people please. I need to people please. I mean, my little kid brain didn't say like that, but you know, I need to kind of be at people's beck and call, and I need to kind of, I need to what's it called? I need to figure out what they want, what they need before I figure out what I want for myself. So I can be safe, so I can not feel outcasted, so I can feel like I'm not on, so I can feel like oh my gosh. Sorry, I gotta, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. But I gotta kind of be on someone's good mood to feel safe, to feel like I'm not a bad person. Yeah, that was the main thing, especially with my family. On my mother's side, they're very religious, but they used religion in a way where it was very manipulative and abusive. My grandma used to like talk about the rapture every day, and you know, kind of tell me, a little girl, that I would be the one going to hell and she would be going to heaven. And even though I was like, there were times where I was so pissed and I would try to have arguments with her and be like, well, you do this and that, like, doesn't that mean you're gonna go to hell? But she would always find a way to be like, well, even though I did this, which is clearly goes against the Bible, I'm gonna go to heaven still. Anyways, that's another topic for another day. That traumatized me. And also, just on both sides of my family, I love my family a lot. But unfortunately, on both sides, they have so much trauma. And I kind of roll my eyes because it's like I don't want any of my family to be going through this. And the fact that I've kind of been the only one wanting to heal and to really, really connect with my family without it being surface level. Like, yeah, laughing and watching a movie together is fun, but it's like we need so much more than that if we really want to be a family. But I bring this up because, because of this trauma that I grew up in, my family has, there's a lot of emotional unstableness. There's a lot of emotional unavailability, emotional manipulation. And I guess that's another thing, as you can see, I'm very like expressive, emotional. But growing up, like, I saw that or because of the backlash I got from being expressive myself, I was told like you're too sensitive, you take things too personally, you stop crying. Like, or even just, having family members that kind of invalidate my emotions. They just kind of, like, even the women figures, like, especially with my grandma, like, I thought, because she was a woman, and I don't bring up my mom because my mom passed away when I was like 7 or 8 or something, so she wasn't really there to be my mom figure. So, but with my grandma, I I thought like, okay, I got some emotional availability from her, but looking back at it, I actually didn't. Like, even though she was like expressive in her own way, like the way she expressed her emotions was also unstable, and so I never really got a good example of what it's like to be safe in your own emotions and safe to express yourself. So I ended up kind of shutting myself down. A long time I would try to suppress my emotions, be more like my dad, very logical. And I would try to make people happy. I would try to overly emphasize, put so much empathy into their life, into their situation, which, it's good to have empathy, but I overdid it to the point where I was also doing it so they can see, like, hey, like, I'm not the bad guy here, like, I'm not. And that's the thing that kind of always breaks my heart is that, you know, I love everybody and I want to be friends with everybody. I'm like, la la la. And I've met people and, sometimes I want to talk things out with people and they're not reciprocating that. They don't have that mindset or heart. And, I get really sad. I get hurt. or they don't like something about me, and I get really sad because it's like I'm not trying to be your enemy. I'm not trying to have you hate me. I'm not trying to get you mad. I just want to understand you. I want, us to have a connection. I want you to understand me. So, I guess that's my biggest way I self-sabotage. Um, you know, is by shutting down my self-expression. Shutting down ways to express myself, and I create my own traps. Even though a lot of these people are not in my life anymore, or they're just not really there, it's like I still it's like I've made my own bully, which is myself. And for a long time I've had this version kind of like hit the back of my head and push me down. It's like to kind of like put me in my place, like remind me like, hey, if you do it to yourself, no one else will get the chance to do it to you. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, you doing that to yourself. You end up being your own bully. You end up, hurting yourself physically, emotionally. You end up, putting yourself in situations so other people won't do it to you. Other people won't say it to you, But it's not right and it's not fair to you. And I know we can't stop what other people think of us, what other people say of us. Like, sure, a lot of people probably gonna watch this and have their own opinions about me. That's just life. And sometimes, we let that child that got abused in their own ways, run the show, even as an adult. And even then, it's not about kind of scolding or even abusing that part of you either. It's about like being like, hey, I know why you're doing this. Like, and that's also another funny thing. Me putting all that empathy, all that trying to understand people, I was putting it in the wrong direction. Trying to have emotionally unavailable people love me in the way that I wanted and needed to be loved. Or trying to hang around too long with friends, family members that just, they're not doing it for themselves either. So, but you need that support. You need that unconditional love and support for yourself. If you can relate to this and you're someone that also has this habit, but if not, apply it to where it needs to be applied. But you need to realize that, like, you deserve to have your true self. And I guess having your true self is also, acknowledging the dark parts. Because it's also you in a way, right? I mean, personally, I believe that, when we're born, we're born pure. But we get into this world and we have things, we have, certain things that are said to us that kind of shape us negatively, or even what our mom consumes, and how that affects us at birth. Like, there's so many things that already, like, we're so drenched in just, if you want to call it sin, or you just, imperfections, flaws in the world, dark, dark things. You know, but even that part of you deserves to be loved. Maybe some of you are saying, but I've made, terrible mistakes in the past. I've done this and that. It's like, yeah, but what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now with that? Sure, like, I mean, depending on the mistake, if it's like, I don't know, you beating up dogs or something, like, yeah, I hope you don't do that again, but also, you know, you gotta, especially if you really come from that genuine place where you recognize what you did was wrong, you recognize what you said was wrong, this is your chance. This is your chance to start anew, to move forward with your life, with by turning over a new leaf, a new stone. And that's another way we self-sabotage into not being happy, is because we drag what people said to us, we drag what things that we did in the past, and we kind of keep it like over our heads to kind of haunt us, to be like, don't you ever, fucking be this person again. Don't you ever get yourself in these fucking situations again. And yeah, we kind of need that, but we don't need it to, or I mean, we need that, yeah, sorry, I'm like, we need to learn our lessons, right? But we don't need to be constantly, like, just bashing ourselves over the head and punishing ourselves. And sometimes that can come in the form of nightmares. Even though dreams, it can, you can be a freaking baker in the ocean and freaking aliens are coming. I don't know. Like, our dreams could be so weird. It's like, what the fuck? What does that have to do with real life? But especially, whoa, I banged my head so hard, I'm like seeing the stars. Stars. I can't even speak. Also, I'm really tired, so it doesn't help. But our dreams don't make sense. So it may feel like it's a waste of time to kind of look into them. But, and I wish I was sponsored by this, but but I'm not. There's this dream bot AI that I've been using to kind of, I record my dreams and it tells me what it's about. I forgot what it's called, so that sucks. But it's been helping me understand what my dreams really mean, especially since I've been having a lot of recurring dreams. And sometimes I have deja vu, like, double in my dreams. Like last night, I dreamt about something, and I recognize, like, I'm dreaming, and I've been in this dream before. And then at a certain point in the stream, I went into the bathroom and I saw something. I'm like, I recognize this from another dream I've had. It's almost like crazy. And that was about, like, me going deeper into my subconscious and my intuition trying to tell me something. But anyways, so maybe you're not someone to forgive. I know how hard it is to fucking forgive. And but you deserve that forgiveness. You deserve that grace. You deserve that softness. And also, you deserve to get out of your own way. You deserve to actually be happy. And like I said before, sometimes we hold on to things so much. We hold on to the traumas that we've been through, the mistakes that we've done. We hold on to it so much that we get in the way of the things that we really want, the things that we could have. And unfortunately, we kind of take it out on the universe, or we're just like, you know, fuck this, fuck that, you know, nothing fucking works for me. But it's like, come on, bro, you're a lot of it, you're doing it on yourself. And I know a lot of people won't like to hear that, but, you know, if you don't like the truth, you shouldn't be here, because that's all I'm going to talk about. But, yeah, so don't, I mean, and I know it's going to take time and effort. It's going to take time to really unravel the web that you have entangled yourself in, to really understand, to kind of trace back to certain things in the past, you know, like oh, the reason why I'm doing this, or why I've been doing it for such a long time, is because it originated from here. It started at this moment. And a lesson I learned for myself, and I'm still kind of learning, or like really trying to infiltrate, but I don't need to wait for others to be happy. I don't need to wait for others to feel safe. You know, I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm not a teenager. You know, I'm a grown ass woman. and and you know, my younger self has always dreamt of being someone that was so powerful, that knows who she is, and this is what I'm doing for her, you know. You also gotta kind of sometimes look back at your younger self and be like, you know what, I need to be who you thought you can never be. I need to give you the person that you've always dreamt of, because that's who you deserve to be. You know, you don't deserve to be in this anguish, this spiral in your head. You don't. So, yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say. But I hope you got something from this, and poop. I was just trying to do a demonstration, but I did it so hard that I'm like, whoa. Sometimes I forget like how strong I am. Big flex. I'm just kidding. I have like what's it called? Batwing arms. So yeah. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and you take the time to really see what you need for yourself. You know, who you really need to be for yourself. What ways have you been stopping yourself? You know, because you deserve growth. You deserve a new life for yourself. You deserve a new perspective. You deserve to get out of that torment in your head, you know, in the rat race. But that's all up to you. So yeah, gonna let you get to it. So yeah, okay. I hope you have a good night, and peace.